This video only started as a question to myself. I find myself, probably like you, clicking through clips and just watching celebrity talk shows, and I'd always come back to one man. I had some ideas why this was the case, and I thought part of it may have been my British bias, but I quickly realised that was not the case.
Let's get loud!
They're not all good, like, you can keep him. Please keep him. So I really started to think about this and get a lot more analytical when I'd watch these clips. More than any talk show really needed, let's be honest. And it was the more I thought about it, the more reasons came to my head, and I thought I'd put something like this out, because one, you may have asked yourself the same question, or two, you might have no idea who this man is, and trust me, you're missing out if you're into this type of thing. So before I go into the rundown of all these reasons, I did decide to look at two other talk shows just to kind of compare and contrast between. Now, I am a firm believer that any argument should be able to stand on its own without comparing it to something else. But I used these as comparison just really to confirm what I already knew to be true. And trust me, there was some definite confirmation in here in these clips. I did decide to keep this fair. I looked at the best talk shows by ranking, and although these do vary across all different articles, there are two that keep coming to mind. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. These men seem to be coming in near the top of almost every leaderboard, so they're clearly doing something right, and that's why I wanted to use them. I know there's probably better talk shows way out in the day, but I was wanting to look at ones current that are still airing today. And also, one last thing, I'm not here to look at these people's personal lives. You know, some of them probably have controversies, some probably have done amazing things for TV as well. None of that's getting brought into consideration here because, to be honest, it doesn't matter. I want to see which one of these has the best talk show for a few different reasons. And for simplicity, I'll now just be referring to them as Fallon, Kimmel and Norton for the rest of it. So with all that now said, here we go. I hope you enjoy my probably too analytical but very clear just stream of consciousness into why the Graham Norton Show is the best talk show. Let's just get the most obvious one right out the way. Multiple guests. The beauty of Norton and part of the fun and charm is that he does use multiple guests on his shows, and he also uses them to help carry the show. Yes, he is the host, but that doesn't mean these other guests can't get involved and ask questions to the other celebrities that they've probably never met in their life. It becomes an open dialogue for everyone to get involved in, and Norton does a fantastic job at bouncing them off of each other in a positive way and finding connections on the couch.
There is an odd link on this couch between the Fabelmans and Brendan Fraser. Do you know what it is? You do, don't you?
No.
Yes, you do.
It's not us, yeah.
It is, of course...
Crystal.
Crystal the monkey. Crystal the monkey, her first job was George the Jungle.
Jungle.
It was that bitch!
He will bring out anywhere from 3 to 6 guests, and this couch can get pretty packed. And what you'll find is, there might be a couple there to promote the same project, but for the most part there's a clear conscious effort to make sure they're from different backgrounds and different careers. It keeps it more engaging that way. You know, you don't just have the same project and the same conversation going on. You get people from totally different backgrounds curious about each other's lives. Now, when you've got a packed couch like this, it is very easy to kind of focus on one. However, not for Norton. What he does perfectly here is he gives everybody their own spotlight and they have their clear segment to promote whatever project it is they're there for, and also themselves. You know, have a bit of fun, take the weight off and just have a laugh with the other guests. And they will all boost each other on the couch. You know, whether they've got questions to ask, a little bit of story to add on to because it might have also happened to them, and obviously just their reaction.
And Nan's voice, because it's an old granny, a kind of foul-mouthed granny, but like properly foul-mouthed.
You do some now, Fran?
Oh, all right. Well, I actually, I got the voice when I was at drama school, when I was training.
Because that is going to give the storyteller just that little boost to keep going, because they know what they're saying is funny and getting a reaction from not just the audience, but the other celebrity who could be anybody. As Norton says himself, if one person is being a little bit dull and not too talkative, he can just move the conversation to somebody else.
If one of them is Mr. Monosyllabic, you kind of go, you nap time for him, and then you move on, and hopefully the other one's a chatty Cathy.
Because chances are, on a couch full of celebrities, somebody's there to step up to the plate.
Somebody senses weakness on the couch, and all guests, I think most actors, most musicians, most writers, they have a wanting to be liked, a wanting to show off gene, and that gene is strong within them.
Right.
And if someone isn't talking, they think, I'll talk. This is my moment.
It is such a clever play, and he gets it totally right. These people are on the show. They're not just there to promote the thing they're doing, you know, a movie, an album, whatever it is. They're there to promote themselves, to be liked in the public eye. Kimmel and Fallon, on the other hand, they bring out their guests one at a time. Granted, there may be more if they're there to promote the same project, you know, like a big cast for a TV show, but they're still there for the one thing. You know, these aren't celebrities that have just met each other, they've worked on a TV show or a movie for years, so it's a little bit different. And while this can make for a more intimate conversation and interview, not like that, if somebody is being difficult to your questions, it is very hard to bounce back from.
It's what?
Etro, E-T-R-O.
That's the name of the brand?
That's right.
Okay. It's like retro, but without the R.
You've never heard of Etro?
No, I never.
What are you sporting tonight, Jimmy?
I don't know. I'd have to look in. Later on, we'll look. You'll go through my pants, and we'll see what I'm wearing. Hey, you had the big premiere right across the street.
You know, you need to make sure your questions are landing and you're having a great rapport, because there's nobody else to turn to. Norton makes a point of asking the couch if they know each other before, you know, how they met.
Sit down, the glamour, the excitement. Welcome all, lovely to see you all. Now, Michelle, do you know everyone on the couch? Do you know Helena? Have you worked together? Have you?
Well, we were just talking backstage.
But we did before, a few years ago, talk backstage somewhere else, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We have met.
And it turns out, if they have, they can just chat away about it for a few minutes.
You've been living in Ireland.
I did. I lived in Ireland for 7 months last year, yeah.
Whereabouts?
Last summer. I lived in Dalkey.
Oh, lovely.
Which they say is the Amalfi Coast of Ireland, and I can tell you from being in the Amalfi Coast, that is not correct.
That's not...
It's the Amalfi Coast of Ireland.
Yeah.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Should have gone over to Hoth.
I did go down the Hoth a lot.
that's where he is.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
oh,
yeah.
It is a great skill to have, because he is juggling like 4 celebrities at a time and working out through the conversation who knows who and who can also have the time to talk. Now, some people may have met each other on other projects, some people may have met each other at award shows, and some of the best moments come from when they don't know that they're connected in some way. You know, like these celebrities don't realise that they're both in a Venn diagram that overlapped with each other, or it might turn out that one of them is actually a fan of another person on the couch, and he just wants to kind of bring that up for a bit of laugh and a bit of his own amusement.
Margot, she'll blush, she won't tell it, but she is an enormous Harrison Ford fan. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah, This is really weird. I have to admit something, Harrison. Though Indiana Jones is like one of the most iconic characters ever, my favourite movie that you're in is actually 6 Days, 7 Nights.
And it's these interactions that make wonderful moments, and these are the clips that you do see just popping off when the celebrities are doubling up with each other. That's why we come to this show. Like, we're here for Norton 100% because of what he does. But what you're really here to watch is celebrities just feeling real, you know, feeling grounded. And the fact that each of them can still be starstruck by somebody else.
You remember Hacksaw Jim Duggins and King Kong Bundy and
Yes.
Skandar Akbars and Care Von Erichs and Carry the Claw? Oh, I got kicked out of Hearst Coliseum.
We're talking Texas wrestling.
I get kicked out of Hearst Coliseum in Shreveport.
Even at the end, when he has a musical act on every episode, that musical act then also joins the couch because they might have something to promote, and even if not, they're there to join the other celebrities. And again, the topic starts all over if they know each other, and he just brings them into the fold, so literally nobody feels left out.
So gorgeous. Thank you very much. As Opie, Russell, Helena, Michelle, Brendan. There you go. Meet and greet, there you go. That's Cat Burns. Oh, what a ray of sunshine. You literally are.
And the range of celebrity status and career can be anything you could imagine. You can have Olympic winners next to movie stars, and they'll still have something to talk about personally on the show.
They look like being round the block, those medals.
They're fairly titled, yeah.
And of course, now, Michael, down in Killarney, word must have reached you of the O'Donovan brothers.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wasn't in Killarney at the time, but everybody knew about it. That's for sure, yeah.
It's not all a Q&A, they can just bounce off each other. We have got to talk about the monologue. I fully appreciate that this is going to play a huge part in anybody that gets their own show. Norton is a little harder on himself than he needs to be, but his point is still pretty clear.
Your name's in the title. It's,
Sure.
but once dreary old Graham Norton comes on, you've got to pretend to be interested in me for, you know, a few minutes. And that's a struggle, because you're thinking, I could do the monologue again.
We're not here to see him, we're here to see his celebrity guests. So he's very conscious of the fact that if he takes ages at the start of the show to get into it, people will be bored and turn off, or viewers will just know to tune in after the first television breaks happen. So for this, I picked an episode from each of the three here and watched it all the way through. These episodes weren't at random, and I will come on to that in just a little bit. And I timed how long these hosts took for themselves. So with Fallon first, he took the longest to get his celebrity out here. He took 18 minutes and 15 seconds just to bring out the first celebrity. That is wildly long. Like, I know it's his show, but at the same time it feels way too extra. Because it's not like when the celebrity comes out, they take over the show. No, he's still very much in charge of the show, and I'll come on to that.
And we had a great, don't pity me, really.
No, but I just got to think about myself. You get there, you get to set, you got to show up early, 4 hours, then you have to act.
And I will need to put a little asterisk next to that. When I say 18 minutes 15 seconds, that is for the interview to begin. There was like a rejected SNL skit with a celebrity right before they came out, and
Cause Zach is boring as shit.
you might enjoy it. And this time at the start of the show was taken to him doing a monologue and a whole stand-up routine, and he got pretty political.
Actually, Trump's excited to be there. He actually spent all day in the lobby signing copies of his classified documents. Oh. Yeah.
They don't land for me. And I'm not putting that to my bias here. I'm here just to talk about the monologue time and who we're here to see. But some of his humour was just so drawn out.
Allred said, yeah, if we Democrats aren't united, in a couple of years, Congress will be, well, my last name.
Like, I get the joke he's doing, and he just kept beating it over and over again.
Nancy Pelosi is Phoebe, and I'm, well, my last name.
And it's the audience I feel sorry for, because they're clearly being told to laugh. You can almost picture the person just standing off to the side, making sure the show is going exactly as it should.
And the overhead bin caught on fire. Spirit was like, good thing it wasn't one of our wooden planes.
Because there is no way this is voluntary. Second, Kimmel did do a lot better at bringing out his first guest. He did come in a little longer than I would have liked. He took like 13.5 minutes to get his guest out, and his monologue got so much more political.
Trump announced yesterday he'd be making a major announcement today, which got everybody going. It's like, what's he gonna do? Is he backing out of the race? Is he suing the Statue of Liberty? Who knows?
Now, quite clearly, I'm not from the States, so some of it didn't land, and some of it I just didn't quite understand. You know, he's talking about like senators and politicians. I don't have a clue. And again, not being biased, that's not what I'm judging these three men on. Like, one part of it, he practically just played a Trump video for 5 minutes.
Hopefully your favorite president of all time, better than Lincoln, better than Washington.
Hornier than Kennedy, fatter than Taft.
And he interjected with his little bits of humour.
Buy one and you will join a very exclusive community
of the dumbest and most gullible Americans ever to walk the planet Earth.
Is that what people watch the Jimmy Kimmel Show for? Like, is that it? And then he cut to a 2-minute clip about like censoring something that shouldn't be censored to make it sound dirty.
You have to actually push his and help each stride. You're helping him as he's getting.
Now, I get the humour that he's going for in it, but who's this show for? Before I started researching or looking up proper clips and watching full episodes, I had always just assumed that Norton was for adults, and then the two Jimmys and shows like them were for like young adults and upwards. You know, they've got that kind of light-hearted fun to them. When they do a bit on censoring something to then make it sound dirty,
I want you all to know that I was born with a little.
That surely has to be for adults, because otherwise the kids won't get the joke. And that's 2 minutes spent, like a solid chunk is spent to that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bothered or offended by it. I cannot find it funny, but still not be offended by it. You do you, Kimmel. But it just leaves you wondering who his demographic is exactly. Now, I might have just been totally wrong from the start, but he just always seemed to have this vibe of like the family gather around to watch him on TV. And then that plays.
And my pronouns are patriot and ass.
Let me know if I'm wrong there. And finally, how long did Norton take to bring out his first guest? 2 minutes. He took less than the time for one of the other guys to do a segment to bring out his first guest. Now granted, there are some variables here. He brings them out sooner because he's getting through a full couch of people, but at the same time, 2 minutes into a show to bring them out is fantastic viewing. He made a few jokes, not all of them landed with me, really not being biased here. That kind of monologue humour, it doesn't quite work for me.
He was crossing the track in minus 12-degree temperatures. And then he just sat down for a moment and his testicles froze to the railway line.
But it played as a little mini warm-up just to get the crowd going to start bringing out the famous people.
So, at least there was a happy ending. Let's get some guests on!
Well done, sir. Now moving on to set design. That is right, I am looking at their set design. This was actually one of the first reasons I thought to myself as to why Graham Norton just stood out to me as the best. And the more I thought about it, the bigger the benefit it seemed to be. So we've got the two Jimmys behind their big desks and the guest chair just off to the side. It does seem like a very commonplace setup, so I know it's not just them two. Now to me, this just seems to set up the idea that the guests are coming to see the host. I am sure the Jimmys are grateful for the guests coming onto their show, but when you're watching it back at the big desk, little chair off to the side, you can't help but feel that it gives the impression that it should be the guest that's grateful for just getting to bask in their presence. You know, it's like a psychological power move more than anything else. There's no need to have that big desk unless you're compensating for something. I'm not saying they are or aren't, but it is a possible theory. Now, jump over to Norton and look at his setup. He's got his own chair off to the side, and he's got the big couch centre stage with the table in front. It is very clear that the guests are here on show, and he's the host off to the side. It's almost like a flip dynamic, and they've just taken away the big desk. Now this works for a few reasons. It is a huge open space, especially when you're having multiple guests on. It just creates an open dialogue for all. It's not like a running order where you've got one guest closest to the host and then the rest get further away, so they're kind of talking over each other.
Group since you shot the movie?
We would always CGI then together. We've never met each other.
Well, just greet each other then. Peace be with you all.
It is an open dialogue for all to jump in whenever they want.
I was vaporized by
he's resurrected.
Yeah, but that's nothing. It was only at the level of DNA that he was vaporized. I mean, of course I can come back to...
This feels like it'd just be the most relaxing way to have an interview. You know, your guard is down, you're comfortable, you're sat literally next to somebody else who you may be with or may not be, but they're in the same boat as you, and that is reassuring. Hell, this even looks like every house party I ever had. You know when one person's at the computer picking songs or putting on the next video on YouTube, and everyone else is just sat gathered round having a laugh? It is literally a party setup he's got for his studio.
The one!
But you were, look.
Yeah, I know, I was very good.
It challenged you, it developed you as a person.
No, but here's the thing. So we let them just wonder, is he happy to stay there?
Overexposed and he's tired.
Okay.
No, he'll be fine.
Should we ignore him?
Absolutely. Act like nothing happened.
He's having a whale of a time on that sofa.
And talking about party time, that brings me right on to the next one. Alcohol. Let's get this elephant out the room. Norton offers all of his guests a drink.
What I do is, one, we liquor them up.
I mean, it's up to them if they take it or not. I've seen everything from water, tea, to any alcoholic beverage you could think of. And it is there for them when they come out. There's not an awkward moment where there's like a bartender serving them it. They've clearly planned ahead, got the orders in, and got the drinks ready.
If you come out and there's a cocktail waiting for you, you immediately think, this might be a nice time.
What a brilliantly simple idea to have your guests come out and just feel relaxed. Sometimes they can get a little too relaxed, mind you.
Some people don't make an effort. Some people are drunk when they arrive.
Well, some people, yes. I mean, well...
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. Now, listen, Mark Wahlberg started... he's been on a few times since, but the famous time...
pajamas, and this is what... Can you imagine...
You sit there. This is a nice lady.
But that is such a rarity. For the most part, these guests come out and they're in a great mood, they're a little bit loosened up, and they're here for story time.
Let's get started if we...
Yeah.
Hey. Thank you. We can do it. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. 1, 2, 3.
As I said, they're not here for their project, they're here for themselves. And everyone likes a little bit of that false confidence, don't they?
That's vodka! That's vodka!
Down in one.
Wow.
Whoa!
Thank you.
The appeal of a show like this is not to see a celebrity getting interrogated, but rather a celebrity to just feel human. The other hosts don't seem to do this. It's almost too surgical.
Water, hello.
Yes, exactly.
Bring the guest on, get your questions out there and get the answers for your ratings, and then send them off for the next one.
Not even a cracker, nothing, just water.
Even though they get most of the time at the start of their episode, when that guest comes on, it is for less time and they just need to be in and out the door. They don't have time to offer them a drink and let them have a nice time. They have water. Whereas Norton feels like a playground for them all just to shine.
Oh, look, there's a fly drowning in your beer.
There is!
Sorry, nothing to say about Lord of the Rings here. Let's just save that fly's life. All right, buddy. Off you go.
Now, drink or not, that leads me on to the questioning and approach that these hosts have. The way in which Norton does this is fantastic in my opinion, which you could probably have gathered by now given the premise of this video, but I will explain. The two Jimmys do something that I feel is just quite nerve-wracking for any celebrity getting interviewed. There is a very fine line to walk here when you're talking to your guest and starting up that conversation. You don't want to put them up too high in a pedestal, because then if you do, for the rest of that interview, because you've placed them so high, that they have harder to fall if the interview goes wrong. With the two Jimmys, when a celebrity comes out, they just get bombarded with accolades and recognitions for all the awards they've ever received and what they're doing.
You're winning all these awards. You just won the SAG award. You're nominated for...
Because you got this movie, you're in the leading role, you're getting these incredible reviews, but you got the Critics' Choice Award nomination yesterday.
Yes. It's a very nice thing they're doing. I totally get why. It's making the audience clap.
You're nominated for an Academy Award.
I would imagine this though to be very nerve-wracking, because at the end of the day, they are human. They want to come out in this show and look humble and be humble. That's very difficult to do when someone's just spent a solid minute just singing your praises and sucking up your arse. So then it's on you getting interviewed to bring them back down a level. That's an imbalance right there. That is not fair to do. Norton, he doesn't do this. He will call out the amazing things people have done, the same way the Jimmys would, but he doesn't do it and wait on applause every time he says something. He will just credit them, highlight their amazing achievements, and then move on.
This, the gentleman, is Russell T Davies, who's our most successful screenwriter in this country.
He is a genius.
The most.
But he sets them up, he celebrates them, and then very quickly humanises them.
No, because you're being one of them.
Oh, yes.
That's the famous.
Because you're back in the world of Doctor Who.
I'm back. I love it. I love it so much I couldn't stay.
And once this is all done and out the way, he will open up the floor and ask a fantastically open question to start the conversation about whatever they're here to promote. The floor is very clearly the celebrities when you're watching Norton. Like, one thing that he doesn't do, which you see a lot of other hosts do, is they interrupt. They try and one-up the celebrity.
I don't think most people realize, they really ever think about like how long 8 minutes is. It's like 2 songs, like 2 whole songs of clapping non-stop.
They want to act like they're best friends, so they laugh far too much when they say something funny, or they will interject in their story as though they were there for it, or they'll get something funnier to add. So then when the big laugh happens, it's the host getting it and not the celebrity.
It feels like he's a guy that you know, I think. That's what I felt like when I read it.
It's a guy that you know and you're rooting for him.
You cared
like,
for him.
You wanted to figure it out and change, and you go like, I'm going through some stuff, and you go, yeah, it's fixable. I want to fix this person or help.
You don't get that with Norton. He lets them tell their story and lets them fly with it. And another reason this is so key is that they're not being led into a certain answer or for another follow-up question. It is up to them to answer it however they want. And Norton has done the job for so long that he's very good at being able to just work on the fly. Depending on their answer is where he will lead into his next question or probe for a little bit more. So I wanted to check this against the two Jimmys. This is why I picked these episodes in the name of fairness. I looked through the guest list for all 3 of these hosts and tried to find the most recent instance where the same celebrity appeared across them all, promoting the same project. A lot of different criteria there, and the one I seemed to come out with was Brendan Fraser for The Whale. If there was one more recent across all 3, then I apologise, but that's the one I found. As for Kimmel, he does not stop asking closed questions.
This must be a fun time in your life right now.
And I've went back and watched other interviews with just random people, He does it all the fucking time.
You were at the Venice Film Festival, I think. Was that where it was?
See, when you notice him doing it, it is so mind-numbing that he does.
And you got, what, a 6-minute standing ovation or something there?
Just briefly, in my work, I deal with customers in quite lengthy conversations, so we deal with a lot of questioning. A huge focus of our work is making sure we don't use closed questions. So they stand out to me like a sore thumb whenever I see them in interviews.
That has to be embarrassing, right?
In just the first half of the segment where he's interviewing Brendan Fraser, he asked, and I swear to God, wait, let me read this. 17 closed questions. That's what all the C's are. And Fallon, on the other hand, just wanted to be his best friend.
It's a big deal.
It's huge. It's like being made. You know, it's Willy Wonka is for beginners.
Yes, you want to walk around and just show it to everyone, like, I'm in the Screen Actors Guild.
You're in the club.
Yes.
You know?
And could not fucking wait to bring up Airheads.
Been really happy to get to know all of the other nominees in the category. We have a profound respect for each other that we've been through, like this gauntlet in the last 6-8 weeks, whatever it's been.
Well, I mean, one of your first breakout roles was in Encino Man. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. They clapped before I could make the joke, but
Like, it's very clear here that Brendan Fraser's answer does not lead into Airheads, but he's got the card ready to go and he just has to bring it up. Again, it's so surgical the way he interjects that story. Norton, on the other hand, asks this.
A lot has been written about this movie, a lot of people have said gorgeous things about it, but if people don't know, who do you play and what's the moment we meet him in his life?
That is like a staple for when someone's here to talk about a movie. He just opens it up with, what's going on, who are you, why are we watching? And it's on them to bring whatever type of answer they want. And then to follow up, he asks this.
Because it's not just that there's a time limit. He's in a very perilous situation in terms of his health.
He has days, really.
A closed question after an open one can be considered a probing question, so that's fine. He doesn't try to interject at all. He is just giving verbal nods, letting Brendan Fraser talk, and then at key moments will ask for maybe a little bit more. And most of the time, it's what he's interested in asking. You know, he's curious about something or doesn't quite understand how it works, so he will ask it quite honestly.
To create Charlie's body. And
did that help or hinder?
Help, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
he doesn't try to put the words in his mouth or get the answer out of him. Talking about leading to an answer, let's talk about setting up a story. Like all talk shows, I fully appreciate that they want an exclusive. They want to be able to put a video out that's maybe a little bit clickbaity, it's got an interesting title to get the views coming in. No shame there, I get why they all do it. It's almost like putting a video out there why one person's the best talk show host. But it is how Norton sets these up that is just so well grounded. Look at how Fallon sets up this story that has already aired on TV.
And I think we all kind of thought, well, how did you break an ankle doing that? Because it looked like you should have broken your jaw or something like that.
I know, everyone said that was the stunt. I mean, I'm going to run across and hit the side of the wall and then pull myself over. That wasn't the mistake.
So you were always meant to not land on the roof?
Always.
Okay.
I don't know how you did the thing. I hear, Tom broke his ankle or he broke his leg doing this one scene. I go, which scene? there's like 20 moments where you go, that's where he broke his leg. No, that's where.
I know.
Oh no, that's the scene where he broke his leg. Oh no, maybe.
So he knew the story, yet does this kind of fake naive act just to look a little bit more grounded, I guess.
That's where he broke his leg. No, that's where.
I know.
Like, it is dripping with cringe. And then Norton, on the other hand, like any other host, he's going for views, but he is aware it's public and does not act like it's a new groundbreaking event. He just wants it told on his own show.
Are your brothers all built like you are?
We're all of a similar size.
Big guys,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was smart. I never picked battles with them. My oldest brother was 4 years older than me. So he was considerably larger and incredibly strong.
You grew up with these 4 brothers.
Yes.
And you think, 4 brothers, bit of rough and tumble. Your house sounds more than that. It was intense.
We were living on the edge of survival most of the time.
Like here, there's just no bullshit. It's a story that he's probably heard already, or his producers have told him about, and he just wants to hear it for himself. And he sets it up just like that. And talking about funny stories, the fucking laughing needs to be addressed. This is one that is just an absolute pet peeve of mine, where you have that audience laughter or canned laughter on like talk shows and sitcoms. Now I fully get that there would be laughter coming in. It's live, you're going to hear it. That's not the issue. it's when it's so forced and ham-fisted to make it seem like it's way funnier than it is, and nowhere was it more apparent than on Fallon's show.
Here we go. Good. Here we go. Close your eyes. Dude, I'm gonna say, I'm guaranteeing you though. I'm telling you now. No, I'm not gonna put the gummy worm in your mouth.
I can't be dealing with that.
Here you go, mate. All right. Yeah, it's where he is.
You'll get these big laughs across every talk show, of course. It's funny stories, you've got the celebrities, it's a good time all round. But Norton's audience never seem like they're getting held at gunpoint to fucking laugh.
Because the guys are talking about this movie, Logan, which is part of the X-Men franchise.
I've never heard of it, to tell you the truth.
How come you're not in it?
Whereas Fallon forces 3 cheers out of fucking ice cream.
If you guess it right, everyone in the audience gets a pint of Tonight Joe Ben & Jerry ice cream. I'm just saying, you want to let these people down? Come on, dude. I'm thinking of a pasta, and the audience is getting ice cream. If you get Higgins, I'm thinking of a pasta.
I'm gonna say penne.
And before we wrap this up, let's talk about the games. Now, I totally understand why these games take place across all talk shows. They are very clickbaitable, they're a fun time moment for the audience and possibly for the celebrities when they don't look like they want themselves.
Activates the impression generator. Yeah, wow. It'll land on one random...
But surely I'm not alone in thinking that the vast majority of these are just utterly cringe and forced. Now, Norton isn't void of games or like these clickbaitable moments, so don't get me wrong, but looking at their own YouTube pages, it's the best way I can be fair about this. It's very clear what they're pushing for more, whether it's good chat or it's these clickable moments. You know, the 2 Jimmys' most popular videos are like these gimmicks or games that take place. Whereas Norton, on the other hand, it's all chat, it is all conversation. And most of it is from when the celebrities are talking to each other and having a laugh. As mentioned previously. There are some staged moments, but they're always relevant to the celebrity. It's not like they're bringing in a game that's completely out the blue for a celebrity to take place in. You know, you've got like a punching machine for Anthony Joshua to take part in. You know, or you've got Ewan McGregor showing off his lightsaber skills. You know, it's always relevant. It's not like they're getting made to eat ridiculous shit or get gunged or something like that. He does have a reoccurring game, and I say game loosely, and it takes place at the end of all of his shows, and that is the big red chair. This is a very simple premise, and it is something that just rounds out his show perfectly. It's just for any member of the audience to come on, tell a story that will either make Norton or the couch laugh. If they laugh, they get to walk. And if the story's a little bit shit, yeah, they get flipped.
This is Rebecca. And where are you from, Rebecca?
New Zealand.
Oh, you surprised me.
Time out. Can I just ask you really quickly?
Yeah.
So this is a situation where we're allowed to, if one of us pulls this lever, she flips.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you just did.
This is literally like the Milgram experiment.
Yeah.
It's like...
Anybody can flip the chair if they want. It's just a little bit of fun. It takes up a couple of minutes at the end, and then it rounds off the show to credits. It's a nice way to bookend the show, where they get a little bit of the audience involved.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Did we know each other?
Yeah.
Did we?
James.
Yes.
Me?
That's the one.
What the fuck?
Do you know him?
He was my best mate growing up.
Sit down. That's James. Listen, that's all we've got time for. They're reunited. It's beautiful.
So you've got 2 minutes at the start and end where it's not really about the celebrities. That's it. You know, I am here for the celebrity moments first and foremost. I'm here to hear what they've got to say about whatever project they're doing that I might be interested in. I am not here to see my favourite actor hanging upside down trying to catch shit in his mouth. I want to see them look human, clearly show that they've got that human side to them, and just have a laugh, a very grounded, relaxed chat. You know, it seems like a little bit too driven, too surgical in a lot of other places, not just the 2 Jimmys. Whereas Norton, it's just a good time all around.
By By the way, this is the best time I've ever had on the talk show.
Oh, bless you. Without a doubt. Thank you very much.
That's true.
So look, that is all the reasons I came to in my own head as to why Norton just outranks all the other talk shows. Don't get me wrong, some may also do the same things that Norton does, and some others may not do the things that the Jimmys do. That's totally fine, and I appreciate that they're going to vary across the board. But I think Norton just checks all of the right boxes in my opinion. And I really did try to make this video as fair as possible by using the two Jimmys. You know, very popular videos that clearly have the same audience. I've done my best on that metric, so I hope you can appreciate that. And I don't want you leaving this video thinking I hate the two Jimmys. There are moments from both of their shows that I thoroughly love, and I'll go back to and watch time and time again. So it's not a directed attack at them or just arse-kissing Norton by any means, but it is a question I've been wanting to know. I use them two as reference, and I feel like all of the points I did make stand on their own without even the reference to them. But I thought I'd put it into context for you because it saves you going and watching the full episodes. You know, one thing I've never heard in my life is somebody telling me to watch this Jimmy Fallon episode or that Jimmy Kimmel episode. It's always a clip from it. It's always a section from the show that's quite good. You know, it's one of the games or one of the chat interviews. Whereas time and time again, people will say to watch a specific Norton episode because the dynamic on the couch was just so good. You know, there was fantastic guests and it was a great time. I can rhyme off so many episodes on the top of my head that are fantastic to watch right the way through. And it wouldn't feel right for me to just send you a clip from that little bit of the conversation. Go and watch the full episode and you'll have a fantastic time. You walk away from Norton feeling that you were part of the party, whereas you can't say the same for the other two. That's my stream of consciousness came to an end. This video I thought would just try and do something a little bit different because that question has been on my head for a while. If you enjoyed it and you enjoy the cut of my jib, consider hitting subscribe, and this sort of video I'll make more of in the future. Those burning questions, I have a lot of them. I can put out more videos like this, no bother. And let me know if you agree or disagree with me on any of my points. Like, I would like to hear a different take on it. Now, with all that covered, as always, thank you so much for your support and engagement, however that may come. Whether you've liked, commented, or even subscribed, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you clicked on this video, even if Fallon looks like he's a UFC fighter with cauliflower ear. Like, I'm not the best at photo editing. Thank you so much for watching.